Morning, morning, morning. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Love 500, and welcome back to MOT Day for Bluey. Now, we don't know for certain that this is going to pass because of that left-hand corner. We're hoping it's going to, but we will see. It's booked in. I think the MOT's at 1:30, but they're also going to be doing the steering for me. Not the steering. The wheel alignment for me, because as you know, that's well out. You might see some wires going under the bonnet there. A couple of days ago I started it up and it was it started up fine. There was no power steering. It's been extremely cold. The beast from the east has come back, and as you can see, there's also snow on the ground. It's about -3 today as well. So I decided I'm gonna change the earth strap when I get it back from the MOT. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Just to be on the safe side. I've got several of them, and I may as well do it. It's probably nothing to do with that. It's probably just because it's been sitting around for a few days, not being started, covered in snow, freezing cold. I turned the ignition off and then back on again, and it was fine after that. But just to be on the safe side, I thought I'd stick it on charge overnight. So it's been on charge all night. I'm just going to take it off and charge, connect it all back up, and then we're going to get it down to the garage to get the MOT done. So you'll see me back once we've got it back, and hopefully with a nice healthy MOT, but we will see. So I'll see you shortly. So I've just taken Bluey in, just got to the MOT station. I have, remember the problem I just told you about with the battery, which is why I put the battery on charge. It's still doing it. As soon as I put the heater on to try and defrost the windscreen, the battery light has come up and the power steering's failing. It's got better as I drove here. I had to basically stop, let it defrost the windscreen, turn the heater off, turn the ignition off, start the engine again, and then the battery light is up. So the alternator could be knackered, or it could be the earth strap. So I'm hoping it's still going to pass the MOT if it's only that. But yeah, I've left it with them anyway, and we'll see when I get a phone call. So the MOT's booked for 1 o'clock. They're doing the steering anyway. I keep saying the steering. They're doing the tracking anyway, and then MOT in it. I say the MOT's booked for 1 o'clock. So once about 2 o'clock comes, I'll have a look online and see what the verdict is, as if they haven't called me beforehand. We'll see anyway. So I'm just walking up the road to get the bus home, and we'll see you a bit later. So I just had a call from the MOT place. As I sort of half expected, it failed the MOT. You can look online on the MOT history if you want to have a look, but I'm going to tell you now what it is. So first of all, nothing much, but apparently the headlight on that near side, there's something wrong with it. The pattern was out, and he said he couldn't get a pattern by adjusting it. So it looks like that the headlight inside must be broken, I think. I can't remember if that was the one I repaired, not now, the tabs, I imagine it was. But yeah, it's broken. So I've got new headlights, brand new headlights. So what I'm going to do is probably going to take a headlight down for him to change it. So because the other things that are wrong with it, as someone quite clearly pointed out, and I missed because I looked in the wrong place, the rear bush on the bottom arm is knackered, so bottom arm's got to be replaced. I did actually put a brand new one in the boot of the car just on the off chance, so that's got to be done. And also, if you remember, the steering was off. It was up like sort of 11 o'clock. He said he noticed it when he first drove it in. I didn't notice anything whatsoever. But he said, did you look at your car square on? And I must admit, no, I didn't. And he reckons that the upper mounts of that leg, that suspension leg, are on the wrong way round. So it's offset. It's not as it should be. There's no wobbling at all. As I've mentioned before, it drives absolutely spot on. It could be scrubbing the tyre, I suppose. It was scrubbing the tyre before, but maybe that's why. So material, parts wise, I need a headlight and I need a bottom arm. They've got the bottom arm. I can take a headlight down there. I can drive one down, and the rest of it is just labour. So obviously it doesn't need new mounts. All it needs is them. Somehow they're around the wrong way. I don't know how that happened, because they were on as I got them, and that's how I put it on the car. So I assumed that was correct. Clearly not. I will look into that and find out more about that. But I'm waiting for them to give me a call back now, just to give me a price on doing those bits. You know, I could do them all myself. I could get them all back here, do them all myself. But for the sake of time, and they've already got it, I might as well just let them, as long as it's not going to be some exorbitant price, I might as well just let them get on with it. It should. I'm hoping it's not going to be more than 2 or 3 hours labour for them to do it. Which, you know, I don't know what their hourly rate is, but I'm hoping it won't cost more than a couple of £100. I know it's money out of my profit, and I'm not, again, you know, I'm not going to make a fortune out of this car because of the amount I've spent on it. But, you know, hey ho, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm just waiting for the call. So I'll let you know where we are as soon as I get a call from them. Oh, morning, guys. I just got back from the garage again. So Bluey is in the garage, as you know, and as you know, they phoned me up and told me that some stuff needed to be done for the MOT. So they've done that work. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I took a lower arm down there, and it turned out that it was the wrong side. I thought I could have sworn it was the right side, but it wasn't. So they've ordered one of those for me. Yesterday they've done that, or this morning they've done that, put that on. They've put the new headlight in. They've repositioned the strap rubbers, the top mounts. They attempted to do that. I'm not even sure if it was actually still wrong. However, it's not. The car's still not right. Oops, excuse me. The car's still not right. So they rang me this morning while I was out shopping in Lidl's to say that it's not right still. They think it's either the shock absorber or the hub. Now, the shock absorber was replaced, second-hand one, but the shock absorber was replaced with the leg. So I think that's unlikely. However, when you think about how the wheel was pushed in like that, you know, wherever that was hit, presumably at the top, they then bent the wheel in on the leg, which then bent the leg as well. So I think it is highly likely. I thought that being cast iron, which I'm assuming they are cast iron, I assumed that it wouldn't bend. A bit like the bottom arms, I just assumed that they would snap. I'm assuming that, maybe I'm assuming wrongly that they're made of cast iron. So as far as I was aware, I mean, I'm no metal expert, but I didn't think cast iron could bend. I thought it just snapped. As you often see with bottom arms that are damaged. But, you know, something along, I don't know, somewhere along the mounting of the hub, maybe, something in that hub is quite likely to be bent. So it's pushing. I suppose when you think about it, it doesn't need to be much out to put the wheel out enough. He said when he was doing the MOT originally, he said when he was doing the brakes basically on the MOT, he said it was jumping about all over the place on the rolling road. So, and of course he hasn't re-MOT'd it, but it's still not right. So yeah, to cut a long story short, I was going to order a new hub on eBay, or a second-hand hub again on eBay, but then I remembered that I've had one in my garage, and I can't for the life of me remember it. It's the right side. However, I had an issue with one of the previous cars. If you remember the car that the girl bought, the red car that I posted some pictures where the girl who bought it smashed it up and she skidded on in a puddle or something in North London. It was that car we had problems with, and I was braking one at the time, and I broke a twin air, and we were trying to swap something over on the twin air, and it was different, and the spindle of the the end of the drive shaft where it goes into the hub was spinning because it was a different size. Now I think, from memory, that was the drive shaft, not the hub. I hope, because I'm not really sure where that hub came from, whether that was the one that we couldn't use or the one that was left over because we used some. I don't know, but I've got a hub that is the right side, and I've taken it down there for them to do. Well, it's Saturday now, so they were closing at 1 o'clock, so they'll probably do it on Monday, I expect. So It's turning into a little bit of a parts roulette, a little bit, but hopefully that hub will be correct, and it will work, and that will do it, and then it'll be MOT'd, then I'll get it home. Hopefully. And of course, on top of that, we've got the issue with the battery light being on. The battery light could possibly be the earth strap, could possibly be the alternator. I hope it's not the alternator. It's not so much the cost. The alternators are fiddly little blighters to get out, and I don't want to be doing that really. I've got one in the garage, but that's out of a pop, whereas this is a lounge, so as soon as it's driving air conditioning and whatever, it's probably a different one. So I'll probably have to buy another one anyway, unless anyone out there can tell me whether they're the same or not. So yeah, that's where we are with that. So I'm sitting in the X at the moment, if you haven't realised. I've just got back from the garage, taking it down there. So I sort of expected to get the car back today, which is a shame, because I wanted to get it plugged in and get that earth strap changed, and fingers crossed that it was that's causing the problem. It's obviously not going to cause a problem for the MOT, because they didn't even mention it. I'd mentioned it to them when I took it down there, but they didn't even mention it in the MOT, and when I looked at the history, there was no mention of it at all. So yeah, it's annoying, but you know, these things happen. It's probably going to wipe out most, if not all, of the profit from this car, but you know, it's not been a good year this year for profit. I was set to make a decent profit on Blondie, but I haven't sold it Blondie yet, and I'm set to probably make a decent profit when I eventually sell Loopy Harold, who's not here at the moment. But you know, after spending the £500 on the bodywork on Bluey, I was still into it for quite a bit, a few hundred, but this is going to eat up a little bit of that now, so I'm going to make very little. I don't know what my bill's going to be from the garage, but it is what it is. But so we'll be back again next week. I'm going to keep this video going, and once we got the car back, we can then go through and do the checks on the and do the earth strap and so on. And I won't do separate videos. I'll just keep it all on this same one. And so we'll be back next week, hopefully. By the magic of YouTube, it'll be in a few seconds for you. If only it was for me. So we'll see you next week anyway, when we get the car back. Right, we've got Bluey back. Bluey is back on the drive. Now, got it back. It's all the work's been done. Oh, just tripping over. All the work's been done. However, when I drove it, there is a noise. There is a noise coming from that side. It sounds like something is rubbing on the brake disc as the car is driving. It's not the brake pads, because it's the same whether you got your foot on the brake or not. So before I take it back, I want to make sure it's not something silly. That's I don't know what it could be, but we'll get to that at some point, and we'll figure out what it was. But first of all, as I said on the previous video, we have got an earth strap problem. Well, we hope it's an earth strap problem. I'm going to change that earth strap now, and hope that puts out that light. But we'll give it a go, and we will try and see. Hopefully that'll be it. Right, as you can see, battery tray is out. Now, if you have a look down there, let me get it zoomed in. You see the green there, down there? That is that main earth lead, which is as corroded as hell. So hopefully, it's going to be that's causing the problem. Hopefully. But we will see. Because it certainly looks like it's all corroded, doesn't it? Now, as we know, it terminates under here, so you have to undo those two bolts and carefully lift off the clutch slave cylinder. So you obviously don't disconnect it from the hydraulics. You just lift it out of the way, then you can get to that bolt. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll come back, and hopefully we'll have a nice proper earth. So remove those two bolts, and I don't know if you can see it under there. there's a nut there, which is I think it's a 13mm, which is the other end of that. This just is rubbish. Look at it, it's all broken. I want to have a good look at it once we get it off, but I'm not going to bother putting you back on time lapse for a minute. I'm just going to get that bolt undone, and then we'll have a look at the actual thing itself, see how bad it really is. Right, so here it is. Here's the cable. As you can see, it's extremely, hang on, where are we? Corroded and split there. So I have seen worse. Can't actually get to that end. If we split that rubber, you'd see the chances are it's broken inside. So and as well as being dirty as well. So that is not a very good earth at all, is it? Not a good earth at all, at all, at all. So let's hope, when I'm twisting that, it's almost disintegrating. Almost disintegrating. Look at the state of it. Yeah. So we'll throw that away and we'll get the new one out and we'll put that on. But first of all, I'm going to clean up the ends as well that's on the car. So as you can see, the slave cylinder is moved out of the way carefully, and we're going to clean up the two ends and get it back on. Right, this is the new one. Nice brand spanking. Let's give that little I've lost me a bit of wet and dry now. For heaven's sake, here it is. Give the bolt a bit of a, or rather the nut. Give that a bit of a rub. Okay, that's that. Right, now let's carefully get this on. So I don't want to be removing the slave cylinder, so we have to do it carefully, carefully, carefully. Slips on nicely. Just do it up by finger. I think I might get a spanner on it actually to finish it off rather than a chunky-ish. Ujimawala, whatever an Ujimawala is. Socket, that's the word I was looking for. There we go. I think. Doesn't seem to be turning very well. In that case, let's get the socket on it. There we go, it's better. Do that up nice and tight. Like so. Now the delicate process of putting the slave cylinder back again. Have to depress it a little bit to get it lined up. That's the trouble, you don't want the piston coming out, because if the piston comes out you end up having to bleed the clutch. God, blimey, it's tough. Cool. Get in there. That one doesn't want to go in. It's lined up, I think. Maybe not quite. There we go. Might have been a little bit twisted. That's it, it's in there. Now I've got to do those bolts up, get those up nice and tight. Just do them up by finger to start, but loosely with the socket by hand to start with. like so. That's it. Okay, that's that. And then we've got to get the other end of this new earth strap along with the actual earth one that goes onto the battery. So that end's not particularly corroded, but it is a bit, so I'm going to give that a bit of a rub as well with a wet and dry. Quite a fairly relatively coarse wet and dry. That's it, nice and shiny. So now that has to feed onto there, like so, and the bolt, we're going to feed the new one on there as well. We'll put the bolt in there actually, get it around the right way, push them both in, do them up by finger. It's like a running commentary, this, isn't it? Cool. Awkward, these. They are quite awkward. Oh, nearly dropped the bolt. That's it. Sometimes these bolts can be a bit on the stubborn side. That's it, it's going in there. So we've got both the main earth cable, which we've just replaced, and the battery earth joining on that same point with a nice good new cable with a nice new earth. So hopefully a nice strong earth like that will prevent any problems. Later on. So all we need to do now is I'll show you it down here. There you go. So that's the cable there, runs up there, down there, under there. So we put the battery tray back in, and hopefully that should do the job. We shall see. We'll get it all back together and then we'll come back. Right, it's all back together and I've started it up, and so I started it up and it's all fine. It's all absolutely fine. Battery light's gone off, power steering's working fine. So that problem was just that. It was the earth strap. Sorry, I was just getting a text message from someone at work then, asking me something, so I'm going to need to call them. But yeah, it seems to have done the job, which is good news. That's really good. I'm really pleased with that. Very pleased with that. That means the alternator's fine. Good. Right, okay, so did I mention, yeah, we got that noise coming from down there, so I think I'm not going to bother having a look at that today. I'm going to have a look at that tomorrow morning. I'm just going to do a couple of little bits on this, and then I'm going to move it out of the way and go and get Blondie down the drive, because someone in about 45 minutes is coming to look at Blondie. So I'm going to get it down the drive. Sorry, I'm eating a chocolate egg. Right, where were we? So, just to go over what happened with Bluey at the garage. So, it needed a bottom arm, as you know. I put a bottom arm in the boot of the car when I took it down. Unfortunately, it was the wrong side. So they ordered one of those, and they've just done it for me. So that was £70 for the bottom arm. They've done the wheel tracking, which, as we know, didn't work because it did turn out to be the hub. I'd ordered another hub just on the off chance that the one I took down there last Saturday was incorrect. It was incorrect. It's obviously from a twin air, so it wasn't any good. So ordered one of those. That came on Tuesday. I took that down to the garage Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning, and they put that on. They also discovered, strangely, when they were doing the tracking, the laser alignment, that the rear was well out as well, and well out. Camber, pointing this way, pointing that way, whatever. It was all over the shop. And I spoke to the mechanic when I went to go and pick it up, and he told me that where you got the mounts, you got the mounts with 3 bolts on. This is on the rear, and he said on one of the mounts on at the rear of the rear mount, it had moved. You could see like silver metal where the bracket had moved on the bolt. So at some point that's been whacked as well, whether someone's hit a curb or something, I don't know. And he said it was so far out, he said he loosened the bolts off and pushed it back to its original position, tightened the bolts up, and it was fine. So God knows what's happened there. So that was another little job he had to do. I'm not sure whether the top mount rubbers and the front were actually out or not, because I think that was just his original thought as to what was wrong with it. What else was there? That was it, I think. Yeah. Oh, and the headlight, as you know, did you know? I can't remember if I told you. The headlight, yes I did, I remember now. The headlight there was something wrong with the headlight beam, so it needed a new headlight. A few months ago I bought a set of a left and a right headlight, brand spanking new Fiat ones, OEM ones, in the boxes, never been used. They had bulbs in them, strangely enough, but they were brand new. And I took those down, and as he was taking the bumper off to do the bottom arm, I said to him, can you just stick the headlight in as well? Which he did. When I went to MOT it, I discovered that the headlight is for a left-hand drive car. He managed to get a beam out of it, but he said it's not ideal because it's not the right one. So I've got to change that. It's past its MOT, no advisories, but I do need to change it. So I will do that, as I'm going to take the bumper off again, or at least one corner, because one of the DRLs on that side is not lined up properly. I don't think it's done up properly. So I need to get to that. So I'll probably pull out that corner of the bumper and do that again. But I've still got this noise. I haven't attempted to see what it is yet, but it sounds like something is scraping on the brake disc as it's going around. When you put your foot on the brake, it makes no difference. It's really weird. It's definitely the brake disc, because it's that sort of, it's that noise that when something hits those brake discs, it makes a particular type of metal against metal noise, and it's doing that. I had a quick look with torch and couldn't actually see any marks on the brake disc at all, so I don't think it's doing any damage as such, but I need to get the wheel off and have a look at that properly. I'm going to do that tomorrow, because they've got my 500X at the moment, and that will be that's in for service and MOT. That's being done tomorrow, so if I do have to take it back because of whatever is causing this noise, I want to do that tomorrow when I pick up the X, so we'll see about that anyway. But for the time being, that's the end of this video. We'll carry on the next video. Probably be one of the last, and maybe a couple more videos to go on Bluey, but we're going to end this one here, and then you'll get another one midweek next week. So until then, I hope once again this has been informative for you and you've enjoyed this video. And if you are a casual viewer, please like, share and hit that subscribe button, and be notified. Also hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload new videos. So until then, don't forget, stay well, stay safe, and if you can, stay at home. See you soon.